So we are going to do 2 quizzes today. So we have till what? Quarter of, I think. 10:45, is that right? In here? Yes? Nobody's answering me? Okay. Yeah, I think 10:45. So it's like almost the first marking period. I still can barely remember the times to get out of here. Getting old. So we're reviewing for Chapter 1 test. When is the test?
Monday.
On Monday. That's right. Okay. I'm not a big fan of taking a test on Monday, but that's the way it works out. And so the test is Monday. So we're going to go over some quizzes. If you have this quiz on you, maybe you have a good filing system, you put it in a folder or something, pull the quiz out, look at it. All right. That'd be a good idea. If you don't have it, then take notes on this. Okay. Write this stuff down, because you will see stuff that looks very, very similar to what we're doing today on the test on Monday. All right. The numbers might be a little different, or they might be exactly the same. Okay. Some of the problems on the test, I would guess, I haven't done like a side-by-side comparison because I made this test up like a couple years ago. But I think there's probably some questions on the test that are exactly the same as on the quizzes. Okay, but all of them are very, very close. At the very least, they're very, very close to what's on these quizzes. So this is the best way to review, so that's why I decided to do this. Okay, here we go. It says, number 1, here's your number line. All right, it says, does that thing keep flashing or something? Did you notice? I don't know. Out of the corner of my eye, it just seems like something's flashing. Maybe it's just me. All right, state the coordinate. What does that mean, the coordinate? Well, what number? Okay, what number is associated with what? Point L. All right, so here's point L, and you're absolutely right. The 6 goes with the L. That's it. There's no math involved. Everybody should have gotten this one. I don't think anybody missed it off the top of my head. I don't know. Maybe they did. But there you go. That's how you do it. Okay, it's just 6. The coordinate of point L. There's L. 6 goes with the L. Boom. That's it. What about this one? Find CK. Well, what does it mean? Okay, I don't care about the answer. I just to answer my little questions before we get to the answer. I mean, I do care about the answer, but not at first. Okay, it means the length. Very good. That's what I wanted to hear. CK by itself with nothing over top of it means find the what? Find the length of CK. All right. You could do it a super easy way. What would be a super easy way to find?
All
right. You could find K, which is 9, and find what? C, which is 0. And you could do what? It's not addition. They said that in my last class. You subtract, right? Now, in this particular case, 9 plus 0 is the same as what? 9 minus 0. So in that case, when you have a 0, you might think, oh, I add those together, but you don't. And I'm going to show you on number 3 that you don't add them. You subtract. So it's 9 minus 0. What's another way? Start at C and do what? Just count. That's right. Right? I mean, you start at 0. You're going to 9. That should be pretty easy. How far is that? It's 9, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. So that should be super easy. So that's 9. What about AK? From here to K. Again, do we add? Okay, because somebody said that in the other class and they said in this class. So I want to make sure it's clear that you do not add them together. Because if I added, watch, don't write this down because this is not correct, okay? If I added, what do I get? What's negative 8 plus 9? It's 1. Is it one place value from here all the way to there? Obviously, it's not. So do you add? No, you don't. You subtract. And it doesn't matter what order you subtract them in. I didn't say this in the last class. I should have. But I usually go the biggest number minus the smallest number. All right? And that will always come out to positive. Well, not if it was a negative. But anyway, in this case, it'll come out to a positive. So what am I subtracting? I'm going 9 minus what? Is it just 8? No, it's negative 8. It's minus negative 8. That's the math that you're doing. Now you could, if you wanted to, just do what? Just count. All right? If you wanted to count, that's perfectly fine. But you're counting so many times, and those lines in between are so small, you might actually miss one. All right? If you do that, but you might mess it up a little bit. All right? So I think the best way is just to subtract. 9 minus negative 8. What happens minus negative? Plus, and what do you get? 17, so that's 17. And some of you are looking at it, say, Mr. Hamrick, you said we're not adding, okay? But really, was this an addition problem to begin with? No, it was a subtraction problem. It just happened to turn into an addition because of the two negatives. But it's still a subtraction problem. Everybody got it? Look, what if I went from 1 to 4? What if I went from there to there? I'm just making that up. Right? Do you add 1 plus 4? No, it's not 5. How far is it? 1, 2, 3. How'd you get 3? 4 minus 1. Okay? I could have subtracted the other way. I could have gone 1 minus 4. But what's 1 minus 4? It's negative 3. Is that the distance? No, we never use negatives for distance. So we kind of put it in what? Absolute value. But you don't really even have to worry about that. Just know that your answer will always be what? Positive. So I could have gone 4 minus 1 or 1 minus 4. I still come out with a 3. Same thing with this. So don't put in negative 17. Don't put in negative 9. All right? These distances are always positive distances. Okay, enough of that. Uh-oh. This is like... Oh, why did I even mess with it? Uh-oh. Now I got blue screen. Oops. Oh, I heard that thing buzzing. Come on. If you're watching this on YouTube, you don't see any difference, but my screen in class just went blue on me. Man, I was just thinking this morning, I haven't had an issue with this. There, it should work. Let's see. There we go. And there we go. Okay. Just don't touch anything, right? All right. Hopefully it'll work. All right, here we go. Oh, my word. The answers I got for this, I just looked at it and it just blew my mind. I got all kinds of crazy answers. So I'm not going to dwell on that. Let's dwell on the correct answers. Come on, screen. What am I doing? I'm just like barely tapping this. What's going on? I got to get me a better connection or something. All right, so 123. I gave you 4 choices, didn't I? All right, so that was kind of nice. All right, so 123 degrees. It's less than what? Or more than 90, less than 180, isn't it? All right, if it's more than 90, all right, or between 90 and 180, what do we call that? That's obtuse. You have to know that. I thought these were just give-me's. I thought this was like just handing it to you. I really did. But apparently you didn't learn the words, right? Learn the words. That's all I can tell you. You don't have to be good at math. You just have to know if it's between 90 and 180, it's obtuse. If it's less than 90 or between 0 and 90, then it's what? Then it's acute. Well, 57 is between 0 and 90, so that's an acute angle. This is really the one that I was really surprised. People put straight, they put obtuse, they put acute. I got all kinds of answers for this. Most of you put the right answer, so that's good. What is the right answer to this? That's a right angle. 90 degrees is one of those special ones. What's another special angle? A straight angle, which is how many degrees? 180. Now, I didn't put that on this, but it could be on the test, all right? So 180 is a straight angle. So make sure this is more than 90, this is less than 90, this is exactly equal to 90, and this is 180. All right? All I can do is just share it, give it to you. You just have to internalize it. You gotta just learn it. All right? Nothing else I can do for you with that one. I can't explain it any better than that. All right, distance. This is kind of like what we just finished doing with that number line. Except, am I going to put a number line that goes from negative 12 all the way to 47? No, that'd be crazy. All right? So we learned a better way, didn't we? Instead of just counting on the number line, what do? We subtract. That's right. And again, it doesn't matter what order you subtract them in. Usually I go the biggest minus the smallest. So what would my subtraction be? 47, what? Minus what? Negative 12. Very good. Okay, it's just not minus 12, it's minus negative 12. And the same thing happens like that other problem. Add the opposite, becomes a plus. What's that? 59? Yeah. And that's all it is. Okay, not much to it. But it is a subtraction problem. Even though at the end you're adding, correct? You still are subtracting. You're subtracting a negative number. All right, let's do this one. These two right here are the ones that we struggled a little bit. Let's zoom up a little bit so we can see a little bit better. Okay? So here we go. I'm going to go through this kind of quick because we got another quiz to get through as well. I'm trying to find AB and BC, right? And they tell you something. They tell you that AC is 44. Kai, you got to pass? All right, so what does that mean? AC is 44. It means, oops, thank you. It means the whole thing, right? From here to here is what? 44, okay? So what does that mean with this segment AB, because AB is 4x plus 4, BC, that little segment right there, is 3x minus 2. What do those two things do to make up 44? They add up, exactly right. They add together to be 44, all right? So what are we going to write down now? 4x plus 4, then what? Plus, right, because they add together. What's the other segment? 3x minus 2. What do they add up to be? 44. That's the key to that problem right there. You got to set it up like that, right? I say this over and over again. This is like the third time now that I've taught this, and it's actually on YouTube 3 different times where I do this problem. It may be these same exact problems. And we actually went over it after the homeworks. That wasn't recorded, but this is the 4th time that in class I've talked about how to do these problems. So they add up to be the whole thing, which is 44. Now, what do we have to do here? Solve for what? Solve for 44? Solve for what? Eventually we've got to find AB, but right here, what do we have to do right here? Just solve for x. That's right. Solve for x. So let's add like terms. 4x plus 3x, 7x. 4 minus 2, positive 4 minus 2, plus 2. Right? Somebody in the other class said 6. Okay, it's 4 minus 2, which is 2, equals what? 44. Subtract 2 from both sides. I'm not going to take time explaining the whys of all this. We've done this before. Cancels out. 7x equals 42. Divide both sides by 7. X is 6. Is that my answer? Do I write 6 right there? No. Okay, it's just what x is. So I got to plug it in for this value right here. Okay, because I want to find AB, don't I? And what is AB? It's 4x plus 4. Problem is, I don't know what x is. Well, now I do, because I figured it out. All right, I did the math, and I figured out what x is. So I plug it in for that x right there. So let's write that here. So it's going to be 4 what? Times 6, right? Because we just found the x, plus what? 4. And let's figure this out. This is AB, correct? This is what AB is equal to. 6 times 4 plus 4, 28. So AB is 28, right there. Right? What about BC? Are they the same? Are they equal to each other? No. But they do add up to what? 44. So if I know this is 28, what could I do very, very simply to find BC? I could just subtract, exactly right. I could go 44 minus 28, and that's, what is that? 16? All right. That's one way to do it. What's another way I could find that to be 16? I could have taken what? X equals 6 and done what to it? Plug that in. Let's see if that works. Both things should work, okay, if you do it correctly. Let's just see if it does work. So it's going to be 3 times, let's do it down here. 3 times what? 6, and then minus 2. That's 18 minus 2 is, check it out, 16. Same thing we said before. And they should work. Both of those should work. Make sense? Okay. I'm not going to say any more than that. I've done that several times now. And again, like I said, it's on YouTube 3 different times, that same exact problem. All right? So there's no reason not to know how to do these. Now, on the test, I don't know. I don't have a test in front of me. I could have changed the numbers up a little bit, but the style of problem, okay, what you had to do there would be the same. The numbers might be different, so don't just sit there and memorize those answers because they may not be the same numbers on the test, okay? So it's not a good idea to go through these and just memorize the answers because sometimes that won't help. All right, let's do this one. Find JK and JL. Which one's JK? This one, the x plus 9. Which one's JL? The whole thing, right? The whole thing is JL. That's what we got to find, all right? But before we find that, what's important to find? Find the x, what x is equal to, okay? So we got to figure out how to do that. Now, on this one, they told you what the 2 segments added up to be. Do they tell you that on this problem? No, they don't tell you what they add up to be, but they do tell you something super important. What do they tell you? That K, this point right here, is very important. It's not just some random point in between. It's a specific point, and it's the midpoint, which means what? What does that tell you about this segment and this segment is that they are the same. They're equal to each other. The lengths are the same, okay? Everybody see that? So what are we going to do? What are we going to do as far as our math is concerned? We're going to set them what? We're going to set them equal to each other, right? Yep, I heard it. X plus 9 equals what? 5x minus 3. We don't know what they add up to be, so I can't add them and set them equal to something because I don't know what they add up to be. But I do know that they are the same. They're the same here. Why aren't they the same here? Because B is what? Not the midpoint. That's right, because they don't say anything about B being in the middle. Is it in the middle? No, of course not. That's 28 and that's 16. B's not in the middle, right? But this one, okay, this point is in the middle. So let's solve for x. What I like to do, I like to take the smaller x and move it to the side with the bigger x, all right? So I'm going to subtract an x from both sides. That cancels. What else could I do? Add a 3 to both sides. So what that does, it gets my x on the same side without anything else around it, right? So what do I got? 5x minus 1x, 4x. And that equals what? 12, 9 plus 3. Divide by 4, what's x? 3, right? Should be good at that now, right? We did a lot of that at the beginning of the year, and I'm not going to talk anymore about that. So x is 3. Is that my answer? Do I write a 3 right there? No, I don't. I got to plug it in. So you can plug it into either one. Doesn't matter. Which one do you think is the easiest one? This one right here. So what do I do? 3 plus what? 9, which is 12. So JK is what? It's 12. Everybody see that? Does that mean that JL is 12? No, because JL is the whole thing. JK is 12. But if JK is 12, tell me something about KL. That's 12 as well. I didn't even have to plug that in, did I? If I wanted to, I could. Let's do it super quick. 5 times 3 is 15, minus 3 is 12, right? So you could have done it that way. But you know that they're both the same because K is the midpoint. So I didn't have to do any math to figure that out. But what do they ask for? They ask for JL. So what is it from J all the way to L? It's 24 because, why? 12 plus 12 is 24. So that's how you get 24. All right? You just have to go back. I'm not going to talk any more about that. You got to go back and you got to see what we're doing there. All right. Let's make that a little smaller so I can see the whole thing. All right, here we go. Let's take a look. A lot of you guys got this right, which I was very happy to see. All right, but let's go through it again. They say find angle 3. So I'm going to put a little arc right there so I know what I'm trying to find. All right, so when I look at that picture, I'm trying to find that red arc, that angle 3 right there. They give me some information. They tell me, let's do this one first. They tell me that angle 1 is 43 degrees. So here's angle 1. I'm going to put a 43 degree in there for angle 1. But guess what else they tell me? That angle 1 and angle 2 are equal to each other. So if angle 1 is 43, what's angle 2? That's also 43 degrees, okay? That doesn't tell me right off the bat what 3 is, though, does it? But it does help me out. What if I combined angle 1 and 2 together? What would I get? 86. Is that my answer, though? No, that's not 3. That's right. It's a straight line. I'm glad you said that. So it's a straight line. And Owen, you said do what to it? Subtract from 180. That's right, because a straight line is 180 degrees. So look at angles 1, 2, and 3. What do they form? They form a what? A straight line. They form 180 degrees. All right? So if I take 180 and do what to it? Subtract 86, I've got what's left over. And that's 94. And that's my answer, 94 degrees. Does that make sense? Yeah, I think it does because I think most of you got it right. So that's good. All right. Now, the quiz I turned back to you today, that's what we're going to go over right now. All right. All right, let's go through this. I had a big, long talk in my other class about this. Hopefully, I won't take so long on this. What's the name of a polygon with 4 sides? It's a quadrilateral, okay? You cannot put square. You cannot put rectangle. I had people putting pentagon. I had people putting octagon. Oh my word, I'm dead serious. And that's what I was thinking. I looked at the paper and I was like, are you serious? It's exactly the question. It's exactly the question that was going through my mind. Are you serious? You put pentagon for this? What's a four-sided figure? And let's spell it right. Okay, I saw some unbelievable spellings between this class and the other class. If I just look at it and I really can't tell what you're even trying to say, I'm not giving it to you. Okay, I'm not gonna. If you miss a couple letters in there, I didn't mark it wrong. All right, but look, spelling is super important. So let's spell it correctly. So quad, everybody should be able to do that. I had people putting a C-U-A-D. All right, I think. All right, it's not a C. What is it? It's a Q. Quad. Okay, quad what? R-I. R. And then what's the word? Lateral. L-A-T-E-R-A-L. That's how you spell it. Quadrilateral. Right? Quad meaning what? Four. What is lateral? We talked about that. Talked about when you're in basketball or football, they do this drill where they blow the whistle and they go like this. What drill do they call that? Your coaches may not call it that, but some coaches do. They call it the lateral drill. Okay, it's lateral. Or if you're in football, right, and you throw the ball sideways, what do they call it? You lateral the ball. Why do they call it lateral? Because they're throwing it to the side. Okay, everybody see that? So lateral means side. Four sides right there. Okay. Now on the test, I may not put four sides. I might put five sides. What's a five-sided polygon? Pentagon. We went through the prefixes literally seconds before I gave you the quiz. Would you agree with that? Yesterday? Yeah, I stood there and I went through them all. Three sides is what? Triangle. Four, quadrilateral. Five, pentagon. Six, hexagon. And so forth, right? I did that at least a minute before I gave you the quiz. And I still got people missing it. Does that tell me you're just dumb or stupid? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It tells me that you're just not paying attention. That's it. Okay? That's the only thing dumb and stupid. The thing that's dumb and stupid is that you didn't pay attention. All right? Everybody in here, for a fact, everybody in here, if you're paying attention to what I talked about with the prefixes, can get those answers. All right? Everybody. All right, here's another prefix. Hepta. What does hepta mean? 7. You just have to go through them and learn them. That's it. You just have to learn them. You don't have to be good at math. You just have to be good at paying attention and remembering. You got to have some kind of memory, all right, to be able to do this. All right, sketch a hexagon. Hexa meaning how many sides? 6 sides, okay? But it says to sketch it. Draw a picture of it, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Some people were very helpful, and I appreciate it. Some people's drawings, you could barely tell the difference between the sides, and some people did this. You don't have to, but I tell you what, it really helped me understand how many sides that you had, okay? Because some of them, I mean, you did a side like this and then a side like that, and I could barely tell if that was a straight line or just a wiggle or whatever, okay? So make it definitive. If you want to put the number of sides on there like that, that helps me if you put the correct number of sides. All right, yes, sir.
Did anyone get that wrong and draw the shape and not closing it?
I didn't mark it wrong if you didn't close it. But nobody had, like right there, that's technically not closed. All right. No, I didn't mark it wrong if you didn't close. I don't think anybody did. But I did get some like almost rounded, like this, like that. And it was really hard to tell how many sides you had. Okay. So try to make them as straight as you can. All right. And not weird looking like that. I don't think anybody's was that bad. But anyway. All right. Here we go. Got to do this again. Man, there's a lot of problems on here where you got to know your prefixes. Number 1, number 2, number 3, 4, and 5. All of them. You had to know the prefixes.
I got this wrong.
I know. But here's what the word says. Look, when it says classify, and we reviewed for this. Listen. We reviewed for this, okay? And I can't remember exactly if I said the word classify, but I said numbers 4 and 5, don't just give me the number of sides, give me the name of the sides, okay? I think I might have said name, all right? But when I reviewed for this, you can look it up on YouTube. When I reviewed for this, well, your class, wasn't your class, I finished early, but I said go to the other class, right? I said go to the other class. So if you look at that video, I think I said name, and on the test, I actually did change it. because that did confuse people. But I did review it, and I said, don't just put the number, put the name of the sides. That's what classify means, okay? All right. So how many sides does this have? 8. What's the name of a polygon with 8 sides? It's a octagon. It's octa, not octo. I didn't mark it wrong if you put octo, but it's octagon, all right? Convex or concave, we discussed this right before I handed out the quiz, didn't we? If I extend all these sides, will any of these sides go inside the octagon? No, none of them will if I extend those sides, okay? So if none of them go inside, we call it a convex. Concave is like if you're walking into a what? Into a cave. Look at this one, right? If you're walking into a cave, do you see how it's like this? Here's the side walls, right, to the mountain, and it's opening up into a cave like that. But look, if I extend the side of this, look where it's going to go. Shh, a lot of talking while I'm trying to explain this. If I extend one of these sides, look where it goes. It goes inside, doesn't it? All right? That's not like this. It's different. See how the sides bend in? They go towards the center. They kind of point towards the middle of it. Right? That is what? Concave. Now, how many sides does it have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we call it 7. We already asked that earlier. What is it? Heptagon. All right? There you go. All right. Most of you got 6 and 7 right. There was a couple people got it wrong. You just got to do your arithmetic, okay? Just do your arithmetic. So perimeter, what does the perimeter mean? It means the distance around this thing. So you just add up all the lengths. That's all you do. 4 plus 8 is? What's 4 plus 8? Count it on your fingers. Okay, it's 12. All right, it's 12. Plus 10 is 22. All right? There's no reason not to be able to add those without a calculator. You should be able to do that, okay? I'm not here to teach you how to add numbers. I mean, I have to make certain assumptions when you come into this class. And adding 3 small numbers is one of the assumptions I have to make that you know how to do. All right, what about the perimeter? I could do this. I could go 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9. That'd be too hard. All right, what's the easiest way to do it? That's right, there's 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're all exactly the same. So what do? 9 times what? 5, which is 45. By the way, look. Whoops. I put units, didn't I? This has units, I put units. This doesn't have units, you don't have to put units. I think I had somebody put units. And that's great, because I think I did mention that. You don't have to. You don't have to. Right? But if you wanted to do that, you can. Everybody got it? Okay. Now these are the last things we talked about in this chapter. And it says the most what? Specific. All right? So this thing in general, listen, still a lot of chattering, okay? You're talking amongst yourselves. It is bothering me. So, what's the most specific, the most general name for this thing? If I just say, give me one word to describe this thing right here, what would you call it? It's a cone. It's a cone. If I said, just give me one word. But that's not specific though, is it? It's very general, okay? There's a lot of different shaped cones, all right? You could have it slanted. That's about it, okay? You could have it slanted, okay? Or the bottom could be an oval or something, I don't know. But look at this. What does that indicate to you? It's a right angle. So this goes straight up and down, so we call it a what? A right. You could call it a right cone. If you just said right cone, I can give it to you, all right? But what's the bottom? What's the base of this thing? It's a circle, so we call it circular. Okay, so when I taught it, I put all this stuff in here. It's a right circular what? Cone. All right? This one right here, is it a right anything? No, because what happens to those sides? Those sides slant like this. So what do we call that? Oblique. Wow. Some spellings I got on oblique were amazing. All right? So watch. Here's how you spell oblique. Starts with an O. All right? And then B-L-I-Q, right, U-E. Man, I had some crazy spellings for oblique. All right, it's an oblique, and you could say circular. If you didn't write circular, I still gave it to you. All right, but you have to have the word oblique in it. If you didn't have oblique, you got it wrong, okay? And what kind of shape is this thing? It's a cylinder. Cylinder is another word. All right, let's spell it right. Starts with a C, and then it sounds like an I, doesn't it? But we write it with a Y. English language is weird sometimes, but we write it with a Y, and then L, and then Inder, I-N-D-E-R. It's not that hard. Break it down into little pieces. Sill. Again, it's a weird sill. It's not S-I-L. You'd think it would be, wouldn't you? But again, English sometimes can be very strange, and they start it with a C. All right? Don't know why. Whoever came up with that word, no idea why they started it with a C. All right? But they did. And then the Y, no idea why they put a Y in there. To me, it would be a lot easier if they just said S-I-L, don't you think? But they don't. This is how they spell it. So let's spell it the way it's supposed to be spelled. All right, one more and we're finished. Okay? Look, some of you guys said, well, I didn't really understand what was going on here. Well, I had the same exact picture when I taught this for the first time. And remember, I took all these pictures from the internet. I just grabbed them and I stuck them on the screen. This is one of them. Look, if I was to shade this in, watch, this is one of the faces. Do you see that? That's one face. Where's the other one? This triangle right here. Everybody see that? So how many is that? 2. And then we got one down here. How many is that? 3. And then we got this is how many? That's 4. But that's just 4 in the front. What do those dotted lines represent? You got stuff in the back. It's 3-dimensional, so there's just as many in the back. So if there's 4 in the front, how many are in the back? 4 of them. So altogether there's 8. Okay, there's 8 faces. And what do we call this very general type of shape here? The very general. General. You're being specific.
4.
It's a something hedron. Very general. You're being specific, saying 8. There could be 4, 5, 6, 10, 12, 100. Poly, thank you. Poly what? Hedron. All right? And I'm getting people that did not put hedron on there. All right? Well, there's 8 faces. There's 4 in the front, 4 in the back. Okay? The hedron is not because there's 4 anything. It's just the shape. Okay? That 3-dimensional shape is a hedron. And now you just put the prefix. What's the prefix for 8? Octa. It's octa, A. All right? Not an O. It's not O. It's octopus, right? Octopus. But I think it is, isn't it? OCTO, I think is. Yep. But this is octa, A. Octahedron. That's the only acceptable thing I would give.
Is it a prism or?
It's not a prism. Okay? It is not a prism. All right? It's 2 prisms on top of each other, right? But this, actually, it's not even a prism. This is a pyramid, right? It's 2 pyramids on top of each other, right? One's up here, one's down here, facing the other way. But this is one solid block of something, all right? And it's 8 faces. If it's got 8 faces, then it's an octahedron. That's the only acceptable thing, all right? Go through the video, look at the pictures that I put on there. Do a Google search, for goodness sakes. You could do that, all right? I mean, it's for everybody. Google's for everybody, not just for teachers. Go onto it and type in some hedrons, right? Go through the list. Give me another hedron that we could have. Give me a prefix and the hedron name. Okay, dodecahedron, all right? What's dodecahedron? You know what I would do? Watch. Look at this. Go through the list. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can't see this because I'm going to the internet and I don't have that up on here. What do we call it? Dodeca? Dodecahedron. Look, there it is right there. Dodecahedron. There's one right there. You could go to images if you wanted to. There's a dodecahedron. Okay, right there. That's what it looks like. Count them up. How many faces on the front? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? 6 on the front. That means what? 6 on the back. What's a dodecahedron? How many faces? 12. You got it? Okay. So you could do that yourself, couldn't you? Doesn't take much effort. If you're going to study for something, use Google sometimes. All right? It's very, very helpful. Use my videos, absolutely, because I speak specifically to what's going to be on the test. That's the best place you can go. But you can go other places too. Khan Academy. Has anybody done Khan Academy before?
Yeah.
Khan Academy is fantastic. Go to Khan Academy. Put polyhedrons. Let's just do it just for fun. We got a couple minutes left. Watch this. I'm going to do a search. Khan Academy. Everybody watching? And then, oh, it's not, I don't want images. So watch. I'm going to go to Khan Academy. Everybody look. Don't pack up. I'm not done. Okay, what's this? I'll just click off of that. Search. Polyhedrons. I don't even know if he has anything on this, but my guess he does. Polyhedron and intro to polyhedra. He probably gets a lot more specific. Anyway, that probably didn't do what I wanted it to do. But I bet you if you click on one of these, you could probably see it on there. Yeah, polyhedron. Yeah, there you go. Click on that, and there's a video. Now, they get a lot more specific than what we're doing. We're very easy on this stuff. All I want you to do is just understand what they look like. They're doing like area of it and all that kind of thing. So, but you can Google it yourself, okay, and find it. All right, I got a couple minutes. Let me shut this down, and I'm going to show you the answer sheet that I'm going to give you on Monday and all that. I'm going to do it quickly, though. So let's take a look at this. All right, this is what I'm going to give you. Everybody look up here. Ariel, get your head up. Hank, get your head up. Come on, everybody look up here. This is what I'm going to hand you on Monday. All right? Just blank. All right? And I'll hand you a test. All right? It's got all the questions on it. You are not going to write on that test. If you want to doodle on it, right, mark something, you know, you can. I don't care what you write on it, but you're not going to put your answers on it. This is called a what? Read it. Answer sheet. Okay? So all your answers are going to go on here. You got a block for every problem. So if you're going to work on number 7, you're going to put it in where? Right here, block number 7, and so forth. Everybody got it? So you take the test on Monday. Everybody's listening, right? You're not paying attention to it. Looks like you're busy. I want you to pay attention. You take the test on Monday. I mark them wrong or right. If it's wrong, there's an X. If it's right, there's a check mark. Okay, guys, you get all this? Did you get ready for the game tomorrow? Yeah. Okay. So, I mark it right or wrong. They're worth 5 points. If you get it wrong, you get all 5 points off. No partial credit. But I grade it that evening, and then you come back on Tuesday, and then I give you the test that you took. You see the ones that are wrong, and then I'm going to give you another one of these. So you're going to have 2 of these now, right? And you're going to look at the ones you got wrong. Don't mess with the ones you got right. They're right. You don't have to worry about it. Hold on. The ones you got wrong, you're going to put it on here. How many points do I give you if you get it right the second time? 3. I give you 3 points when you get it right the second time. Okay, so that's how we're doing the test on Monday. We're going to start right away. There's not going to be any review or anything like that. As soon as you get in here, put everything away. I'll give you one of these and we'll start. Okay? All right. Yeah.
On Renweb, it says that it's still.
I graded everything. I probably just didn't update it, but I will. Yeah, well, if you're absent, you get full credit.
Yeah.
For number 10, I
Yeah.
put
That one.
quadrilateral.
That one.
But I thought you did like
It is a pyramid, but not the whole thing.
I thought you I still got 20. I still got 27. I thought you
That's fine. It's only 1 point. Can you pick that up, please? Whose is that? Just throw it away. He's going to leave it on the ground. I'll just toss it.
I'm laughing, Kobe. Not money.